Hello and welcome. This is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons, and this is just a special off-the-cuff, non-blue shirt version of this live session where I want to talk about pentatonics. This stemmed from a question from viewers, so I just want to make sure that we have a proper setting. If you're on the live call with me, just hit me with a thumbs up if you can hear this. So this is YouTube Live on Pentatonics. Right, so I want to take a moment to give you some resources. So the books that I like and know and like and use, and I want to give you some other tips and resources and maybe leave you with a few links. This again stems from a question I had from viewers, just double checking if I can share the screen on here. Yes, perfect. Let's go. Perfect. First thing, I learned pentatonics by looking at mainly two books, and I would recommend three books that you want to look at. The first one is by Jerry Bergonzi. He's got this series of books called Inside Improvisation. So that's old. It's on advanced music, and this is volume 2. He's a sax player, and one of the main benefits of this book is that it's mostly written for sax players. So there's a bunch of lines. You can simply ignore most of it because there's lines that have been taken to different keys. You could just sort of figure it out. The backing tracks are tremendous. So back when I bought this, it came with a CD, and I know, right? Big eye. And it's good for superimpositions and looking at a chart, like, okay, we're playing blue bossa, and on top of the chart, it says, I recommend you play this pentatonic. So just to be clear with the pentatonic side, here we're not, for jazz, we're not doing like, right? It's not blues licks, it's using pentatonics superimposed over different chords to give a more of an angular modern sound. So that was my introduction. Take it or leave it. Sometimes I think he will refer exclusively to major pentatonics or to minor ones or to dominant 7/1. So there's a recoup in nomenclature that you have to do, like a translation, also translation to guitar fretboard. So that's one of my go-tos. So the other one is from a guitarist by the name of Steve Kahn, amazing guy, and it's called Modern Pentatonic Concepts, or just Pentatonic Concepts. And again, it's mostly a lot of the same ideas, but really applied to the guitar. The caveat with this one is that it's mostly referring to the major pentatonic scale. So if you do C major, you go C, right? You go C, D, E, G, A. So you take out the half steps and you wind up with this scale. So I think between these two, I had to sort of translate myself and go, oh, he's thinking a minor, oh, he's thinking a major, or whatever. So that's just really good resources for you if you want to get into that world of using really strange lines. And if you're looking at that and you're really intimidated by the stuff, especially the sax stuff, I have some of the solutions here. There's resources in the description already. One of the things, one last book, Raymond Ricker, spelled R-I-C-K-E-R. I have the PDF somewhere. I bought the ebook. It's basically telling you can play any pentatonic at any time. It's sort of crazy. So Wayne Shorter style of thing, you could look at a C major chord, and during that chord, you just decide to play, I don't know, C sharp minor pentatonic. Meaning that you'll have like all outside notes, and that's a choice that you can make. So the book was enlightening for me. And now, if you have any questions, please use the chat feature here. But that's for YouTube Live. If you're watching the replay, or if you're watching this, listening to this on the podcast, thank you. Just leave me a comment or shoot me an email directly. I can help you out. This stems from a question that I have often because there's a series of my videos that's on the blog that's been used and reused and watch and rewatch. So what I want to do for the next while, for maybe the next 5-10 minutes, is run you through my basic approach to jazz guitar pentatonics. And you'll see it's a no-brainer. Like, there's nothing complex. You don't need to learn a bunch of patterns. You don't need to, you basically need this. So off we go. Step 1 is finding out the boxes. And sorry, I don't have my, second camera guitar thing. It's just the one. Basically, we're going to look at A minor pentatonic, that good old shape. Sorry, I also have a tremendous paper cut on my right hand, so it makes it hard to pick. So learn the box. So far, so good. Then there are 5 boxes in total, right? So there's this one, and then it's the same notes, but they're boxed in. The advantage with guitar is like it's 2 notes on each string. So then there's this one, that one, that one. And you can find that on the blog. They're all written out. If you're familiar with Cage system, it's the Cage boxes that are translated to the Pentatonics. Easy. That's it. Learn them. Make sure you memorize them. Do it in C. Do it in G. Do it a bit in A. What I just did is considered A minor, this guy, right? So that's considered C major pentatonic. It's the same note. So just remember the translation. C major pentatonic equals A minor pentatonic. Learn all 5 shapes. Cool, cool. It will be easy physically because if we change keys on guitar, we just take it up or down a half step. Just make sure you can orient yourself that you can do 3 or 4 keys and you're all set. It's just digital patterns to remember. Good. Second step is to do, so step 2, we'll have to A and to B. That's also part of the blog post. Check it out. Is to learn basic patterns. The first basic pattern I love to do is 4x4. So, right. Sorry. And backwards. Not that we will ever like play lines like this, but it will become part of our vocabulary. That one's pretty easy. And you can also do it backwards, like, right? Or that's much harder. Good. The second pattern, the 2B, is doing a skip, a step, and back a skip. So I'll just play it, and it sounds complicated. It really is not complicated. Right? So you go A, D, E, C. So you go up and you skip a note. You go up to the next step in the scale and then down to C. So what I love about this is if you can see it or you're watching on YouTube, you can see the digital pattern is super simple. You go, cool. Let me just put the fretboard in more view. How about that? Ah, better. And then next string set. Then next string set. So we go. Ah! So those are sort of addictive little patterns, but you have to do your 5 boxes again. You know, for 2A and 2B, you go. Sorry. Also the other box. So you sort of got to muscle through them. So that's the ascending version of 2B. Descending version, also found on the blog. You could do again, next string set. So they're little monsters because you start to chop. You go like, oh, I'm not a fast player. Me personally, I'm not a fast player, but I love this stuff because I go. I can totally hear like Kurt Rosenwinkel or Pat Metheny shred those. I'm like, yeah, cool. And there's going to be fingering discrepancies or difficulties with that. So you go. So look at the different patterns. Go. Whoop. I need to get a taste of my own medicine, right? Okay, good. So step 1, you've done each of the scales in the boxes. Cage, easy, right? Step 2, you do pattern 4x4, and this one, that's sort of a skip gap thing. Our friend Jerry spends a lot of time on the pattern for this, and even will displace them by an 8 notes. Personally, like, if you want to displace them by an 8 note for guitars, you just sort of start a pattern on a different note and the result is the same. So you can explore that. I did go really in depth with that, but it doesn't yield as much benefit. So what I'm talking about now is like 80%, 80-20, right? Where is the 20% of the skills that you need so you gain 80% of the benefits? Pareto, 80-20. Good. So you have your boxes, you have your 2 patterns, you shed them. Step 3, you start to implement them. So I'll leave you to read this. I have a comment here. Hey, good morning, Mark. Nice to see you. Mark with a K. It's nice to see you. So there are many ways to implement on the different chords. And that's what, say, Jerry Bergonzi will have you do, or especially Steve Kahn will be like, okay, you have a G flat 7 sharp 11, so you could use this pentatonic, this or that. It's like, it becomes like almost like a chemistry class. Yeah, chemical elements, right? Combine and whatever. I'm like, whoa, yes, but You're supposed to improvise with that stuff and it's supposed to sound good. So just I think, of pentatonics as supplements to my existing language. If there's a 2-5-1 I'm taking and I go, right, I can use the pentatonics in the middle. Again, some classic licks, and then maybe the next round I'll use pentatonics. So it's good to use pentatonics as one more tool in the toolbox for sure, but it's not necessarily to go like, I want to take an entire solo where I just use just pentatonics. So they sort of both, and even Raymond Ricker in his book, they sort of go overkill a little bit. And I love the stuff, but I synthesize my approach, and you're watching this is absolutely free. And it's also found on the blog. We could look at a chord by chord approach and really nail those and go, if I'm on a major chord, I could do this, that. But I'll give you the one solution that is the simplest that will take you very, very far. You ready? Super simple. When you're looking at a major or minor chord, you could either play the pentatonic of the chord. All right, namely, you have an A minor and you go, that one's pretty boring. Or if you have a C major, you do, which is the same scale you do, you do the notes of the pentatonic of C major during a C major chord or the A minor pentatonic during an A minor chord. Good. The approach that starts to make things interesting is you take the pentatonic that is up a fifth. So if I have an A minor chord, I think A, B, C, D, E, I will play on an E minor pentatonic. So let me do an open A. I'll play the note. Very cool and floaty, right? So if you know how pentatonic scales are built, we will realize that, there's two things that are only one note away. There's only one note difference between A minor pentatonic and E minor pentatonic because of the way it's built. So it does mean that instead of a C, we get a B, which makes us have the ninth of the A minor, which is a color tone, which is pretty cool. So that's your solution that's going to work 95% of the time, all right? C minor chord, go up a fifth, play the minor pentatonic. You're welcome. The magic of the internet, isn't that amazing? We're sitting in 2024. I'm like, I could talk to people and just go in my studio, just like click, and that's it. It's amazing. Second part of this, I said major and minor chords. So you get major chords, you will do C major. Same formula, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you go to G, play a G major pentatonic, right? So if you have your C, you'll go. So what the essence of this is, again, we change the C to a B note. You could call that G major pentatonic. You could call it E minor pentatonic. It's the same 7 notes. So basically, you see a C major, play G major pentatonic. You see an A minor, play E minor pentatonic. Up a fifth, up a fifth, up a fifth. You will have noticed that probably these two are the same, right? So if I'm on A minor, I play E minor pentatonic. If I'm on C major, I play E minor pentatonic. So you could sort of recall that in whatever way works for you. Good. That's like the mark approach. Like, of course, shed the pattern and do all of that. Of course, all these things are relevant, but I think there's a bit too much. Before I get to my next step, I'll show you where this guy is giving you a progression. So you see a regular progression you'd see on the lead sheet, and then on top, he puts the pentatonic choice. Cool. I've seen students do this with success, going like, this is Stella, and I'm going to put every pentatonic I'm supposed to use. Good, but also you should still have your licks and your 2/5s and your bebop stuff and your chromatics, like everything goes, but this is another tool. So it's good, but it's important to remember how it's connected. Where my beef with this guy is that in the next progression, I don't know if you see this, you'll put on top of the staff 3 pentatonic choices. I'm like, okay, but when I get there, what do I do? I can't play all 3 pentatonics in a go. So I would have to like pencil in, let me use the second one. Here, let me use the first one. So it's like, it's condensed to an extreme where there's just too much information. So for me, go up a fifth, you're safe. You ready? Next step. We have dominant chords. Namely, so we did the major and the minor, right? So we did C major, D minor would work, A minor, whatever. When we get to a G, like a G13, the 5 chord, there's really 2 branches. If you are plain vanilla, G, you want to go up a fifth again, minor. So during the G7 chord, you'll play D minor pentatonic. And what you will realize if you do that, it's like, well, the 2 is D minor 7, the 5 is G7. So you're like, well, while I'm on the 5, I'm still playing the D minor pentatonic, so I'm still like lingering on that 2, if you will. And the sound for this is going to be a G7, sus. Or you can play it like this. Sus with a 13. So you still have that C natural note. So that's a plain vanilla route. So again, major, minor, we solved that, play up a fifth, cool. You want to be boring, play on the actual pentatonic of the sound, you get no extensions. And for dominant chords now, the first option is to make it be plain vanilla sus chord for the G7. You want a G altered, I'll just give you the formula, and we're going to end with that, guys. That's it. After that, that's it. That's the approach. If you have a G, go up three frets. So B flat, minor pentatonic. That's it. But if you play it against a G bass, that's a pretty tense scale. So actually, if you play B flat minor pentatonic, so up a minor third, people that know the diminished chords will go, you're onto something. Yeah, they're all related, right? So with the G7 sounding and me playing B flat minor pentatonic notes, I'm actually playing 5 notes out of the G altered scale. The beauty is you don't need to know the G altered scale to do that. You could just do that here. You're like, my box. Yay! That's it. Okay, so far so good. If you have any questions, guys, the guys that are watching live, chat with me. That's what I'm here for. Now, interestingly, there's 2 more little things we can talk about. Number 1, what do we do when there's a minor 7 flat 5 chord? I would treat it like an altered dominant. For instance, if I had G minor 7 flat 5, I would probably be playing B flat minor pentatonic again with some caveats or some I would play around it and see what gives. All right. So you gotta you gotta use discernment. It's not like, again, this is not chemistry. It's not like plug and play, go, I got the right. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. You need to play with lines and feel stuff that you hear, but that would be my go-to formula to make things extremely simple. Note that these guys will also introduce another pentatonic that have a different structure. Now's a good time to start talking about it. So we go A minor, but you will lower the 7th you go. So Bergonzi calls it the A minor 6 pentatonic, but the other guy calls it the D7 dominant pentatonic. But they're talking about the same thing. Another thing of translation between sax and guitar, like different systems. So I made my own system. Again, I want to recap because I don't have like present screen share and whatever on this. So 1, major, minor, go up a fifth and you'll be awesome. Secondly, if you want to do a dominant that's plain vanilla, go up a fifth minor. If you want to do a dominant that's crunchy, go up a minor third, so up 3 frets. When you have your minor 7 flat 5 chords, consider it like a dominant altered. And last but not least, the Schofield trick. If you are on a C chord and you want to have that Lydian sound, do the pentatonic that's a half step down. So look at the major 7 chord, major 6, major chord, look at the 7th and play that pentatonic. So go here, you'll hear it against the root. That's a beautiful sound. So that's half a step down trick. That's it, right? You got the approach, perfect. So now, be free and look at your 2-5-1. I think I'm gonna share the screen, can I? Say I have this progression, you recognize it, it's 1, 6, 1, 6, 2, 5. It's all in C major, right? So what do I do here? I wish I could draw on the screen. I can't. I do G major pentatonic, up a fifth, aka E minor pentatonic. What do I do here? E minor pentatonic. So I could say I play a E minor pentatonic over this entire thing. Incredible. Here I do A minor pentatonic. And here for a bit of a crunch, I do B flat minor pentatonic, right? So I can't write them on the screen, but I'll play like maybe a couple rounds of improv, and I'll sort of scream what I'm playing to give you an idea. So E minor. A minor. B flat. Again. A. B flat. Here you go. So that's one way to go about it. And then another trick would be to do the infamous half step up trick. So I can do A minor pentatonic here. Here I do half step up, so B flat minor pentatonic here, and here I do C Lydian. I do my God, what would it be? B. So yeah, A sharp, B. So up in half step. And for that last one, I would do my C minor pentatonic because I want a really crunchy altered sound. Let me just demonstrate this maybe with some piano at a faster clip, and I'll do maybe 4 rounds. Check this out. So A, B flat, B, C. Oof, that's me trying to plug more things. Let me do it one more time at a slower clip, and so I can just play the pentatonic up and down without like fooling around the middle. Ready? So A sharp, B, and then C. Good. So stop my screen. Good. So the thing here is, you see how hectic it can get. So if I just decided to play on pentatonics, it could be maybe a bit too much, right? So now it was A sharp, B, C, A sharp. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. It is but a tool in the tool shed that I use, and that you can start to use. So it's good to have like your background as a rocker or blues player, have these pentatonic shapes, but instead of just shredding them like blues licks, you could just use them to superimpose ideas, which is I find is sounding really cool. So let's do one last one. For I'm going to present with screen share, but I'm not going to be able to draw on the screen on that one. Let me find out. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to Blue Bossa because last viewed Blue Bossa. I'm going to give you the formula, the application of the rundown. So on C minor, 2 bars, I'm going to go up a fifth, G minor pentatonic. Good. On F minor, I'm going to do C minor pentatonic, 2 bars, right? So G minor pentatonic to C minor pentatonic. On this, I will F minor pentatonic during the D minor 7 flat 5, B flat minor pentatonic during the G7 flat 9, and G minor pentatonic again. So I've done 8 bars so far, and it moves around a lot. So what I'll do 2 rounds of solo. And on the first round, I'll be very pedantic to show you this is the actual scale. And on the second round, I'll actually take a solo. Maybe I'll solo a bit more to give you an idea. Good. Then when we get to bar 9, we get the E flat minor 7 to A flat 7 to D flat major 7. So again, up a fifth from E flat minor 7 is, what's up a fifth from that? It's, again, B flat minor pentatonic to a B natural minor pentatonic to a flat pentatonic major. I think you'll hear it. I'll just do it once, plugging and playing like the exact scales that I recommend. It's going to be relatively easy. Okay, off you go. Then I'll solo after. Good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'll take a solo of 4 courses. Try to be clear on camera also as far as what I'm doing. And for the first course, I'll be pedantic, meaning I'll just play the scales up and down. And in the second course, I'll be more playing around of these pentatonics. And say course 3 and 4, I'm going to play a solo that does have some pentatonics, but that have other ideas that are like regular ideas, if you catch my drift. So let me just go ahead and do just that. Okay, so 4 courses again. Plain and simple, pentatonics varied, then my actual solo is going to be course 3 and 4. Off you go. Ah. Ah. Good. So there was a blend of ideas of what I was just hearing and going for in the moment. And then, a pentatonic idea, flurry. Maybe it was not the right pentatonic. Maybe it doesn't really matter. It's just really beautiful vocabulary. So again, my name is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons. See the blog post in the description below. Thanks for coming. If you're coming to this live call and you just stumble upon YouTube, thank you. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this in a replay on the podcast, please make sure to like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. And also for the podcasts, it really helps me if you add a rating or a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whichever platform, because it gives me a signal that you guys like what I'm doing. Also, especially for the YouTube, if you can drop me a comment with an aspect that you enjoyed or something you need clarification on, it really helps me. And again, the 2 reference books are Pentatonic Concepts by Steve Kahn and the Jerry Bergonzi Inside Improv Series Volume 2, the Pentatonics, and the Raymond Ricker, which I don't have physically, but I mentioned. Again, see the blog post for the Pentatonics applications, like the way we do the patterns and the way I love to describe this approach is fully done on the blog post. It's a bit tedious going like, now we have a major 7 sharp 11 chord. We want to do this. And then we have an altered, and like I go in detail. Hopefully this approach, what I've just done with you, gives you the 80-20 bird's eye view so you can take your skills to the next level. Again, if you're looking to take classes, lessons, we have plenty more free stuff on the rest of this YouTube channel. Join the school communities, Jazz Guitar Fellowship. And also we have coming up with October now, as I'm speaking, we have new ways for you to take the classes and the lessons with the 5-step process on the standards, which has been yielding tremendous results with thousands of guitarists so far in the past 3 to 4 years. So join us. Don't be shy. Drop me a line. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.